I would want purple over green. It's not true. All right, so you're going to take out your notes. You can go ahead and label it elimination using add and subtract. Phones can be put away. Daycare is open today. If you need to drop your phone at daycare, we got daycare open for you. Let's go ahead and open. If you need a pencil, let me know.
I need a pencil.
What?
I need a pencil.
There you go. Pencil? That's not sharpened. And then I would grab one color pencil out. It might be helpful to color your notes. Pencil? Pencils? You guys got pencils today? Pencil? Pencil? Need a pencil? Okay, there you go. Pencil? Pencil? Take your notes out. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. She started this, but she didn't have to pay for them. So she always I know. And so then she was like, oh, but Miss Nelson did arrange that.
Okay, sounds good. Easy. I'll go back in and grade a little bit of it.
Okay, or she knows to come back.
Okay. I think we'll talk later. You don't need to know any of that information. All right, here we go. So elimination. We're going to define that word, which we already did. We're just going to write it in our notes because in 3 days from now, we might be like, what the heck? And be like, oh, I know we talked about it, but not quite remembering. So elimination, we said means to like take away. To remove. Ooh, this is one that's really popular right now that a lot of people like to say. That cancel culture, right? If you cancel someone, what does that mean? Like they don't exist to you anymore, right? Cancel. Okay, or like to get rid of.
You don't necessarily have to write all of these. You can just pick your favorite. Just know that elimination means we are removing it, taking it away.
Okay. When we add and subtract, we want to eliminate, we want to either add to 0 to equal 0. Okay, that's our big goal today, is that we're either going to be adding or subtracting to get it to equal 0, to eliminate it.
And you already did a really nice job of this during your warm-up. I heard quite a few of you talking through this. You didn't necessarily write it out or grab a calculator. You just kind of talked through your thinking. And that's what we're going to be working on today.
All right, we have a couple examples that we're going to go through. So if you want to write word examples, you can. If you just want to start writing examples, that's fine too. So we're going to be solving that system. Of a system, what should our answers always look like?
Looks like our solution to a system. An ordered pair.
Good. Next one. And how many equations are we working with in our systems? When we write our problem here, how many equations will we write?
At least how many?
At least 2. And this year we are only doing 2. But when you become a super mathematician, when you go to Algebra 2 or you're in college taking some college classes, you're going to be dealing with some more. So our first one, we have 7x minus 5y equals negative 17. And then our second equation, we have 9x plus 5y equals 1. We'll get it figured out. All right, so as we look at these, what's kind of nice about elimination, depending on how you like to do math, when you first get taught math, you learn it like vertically, usually, instead of horizontally. We've been doing a lot of horizontal work. So this one we're going to think vertically. So we're going to actually combine those equations either by adding them together vertically or by subtracting them vertically. So as we look, which numbers could we add or subtract to make 0? Which numbers could we either add or subtract? Would we do 7 and 9, negative 5 and 5, or the negative 17 and 1? Yeah, the negative 5 and 5. We could combine those to make 0. So let's think off to the side here. If I have negative 5 and 5, what am I going to do to make that 0? Should I add or should I subtract those? Is negative 5 plus 5 0 or negative 5 minus 5?
Remember, we kind of noticed a pattern on our warm-up when we had one of each. I think Mohammed said really nicely that often we have a negative and a positive.
Do we add or subtract? Add. Okay, so our goal is to get this negative 5 plus 5. Our goal is to eliminate that mark. And to do that, we're going to add. So I'm going to sneak in a little adding sign, even though there's already one there. Sneak it off to the side. But if I add those ones, I'm going to have to add all the way across. So I'm going to add over here. And I have to add on the other side too. So we're going to add all the way across, but vertical. So I'm going to start with my x's. What is 7 plus 9? 16? Is that what it was?
Yep.
16x. Okay, plus. Now negative 5 plus 5.
Negative 5 plus 5.
0. That was the whole goal. If we didn't get 0 there, then we knew something wasn't quite right. Equals negative 17 plus 1. Negative 16. So we have 16 x's, 0 y's, and it equals negative 16. So when I write that out as an equation over here to solve, I'm going to say 16x. Do I even need to write the y's?
If we've eliminated them, they are gone. We have 0 of them. Do we have any?
Nope.
So we don't even need to write.
So 16x equals negative 16. And we're going to just solve that equation. It's a quick one-step equation. Currently, what's happening with that 16 and x when they're together? Multiplication. And what's the inverse of multiply?
How do we undo multiplication?
Divide. Good. If we do it on one side, do it on the other. So we get x equals negative 16 divided by 16. What do we get? Negative 16, negative 1. All right, so that gives us our x. Is that our final answer for this problem? Nope. Remember, we need both an x and a y. So now we have to find a y. And to do that, we're going to go back and substitute, which we've done a lot, but we just need to substitute for one equation. So we need to pick one of these equations to work with. Do you guys want to work with this top equation? 7x minus 5y equals negative 17. Or should we work with the bottom equation, 9x? The top? Okay.
At this point, you could choose either. There's not one you should choose or need to choose. So whichever, when you're doing your practice, whichever one seems simpler to you or seems easier for you, pick that one. Okay.
So we have 7x minus 5y equals negative 17. Dylan. Bro, you're not even trying. Sit on it. Sit on it. All right, so 7. I know what my x is. What number is our x? Negative 1. So I'm going to say 7 times negative 1 minus 5y equals negative 17. And then we have to solve that equation for y. You're so close to finishing that problem. So 7 times negative 1. Negative 7 minus 5y equals negative 17. And then we're solving that equation to find y.
So remember, our final answer, we want to be y equals and then a number on the right-hand side. So what's with the y, what's over on that side, that we can remove or move over right over? The negative 7. How do we undo negative 7? Right.
And if we do it on one side, then on the other side. So if I start at negative 17 and I jump towards 0, I'm going in the positive direction, I'm jumping towards 0 7 jumps, where do I end up at? Negative 10. Okay. And then lastly, we have to undo that multiplying by negative 5. So we're going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Negative 10 divided by negative 5? Close. Positive 2. Remember that negative divided by negative gives us that positive. Those are just those silly rules. So for our final answer should look like an ordered pair. We have an x and we have a y. So what number is going to come first? Good. Negative 1, positive 2. All right, we have one more example that we're going to do, and then we're going to just make a quick note. Okay, number 2. So number 2, again, we're going to start with two equations. We have negative 4x minus 3y equals 18. And we have negative 4x minus 4y equals 16. I can at the end, just at the end. You just need the definition. Oh, yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yep. You're welcome. Thank you for asking. I thought you wanted to see the top of the paper, so I was confused. All right, so we're going to look vertically, and we're going to decide should we eliminate the x's or eliminate the y's. Why the x's? Do those coefficients kind of match? Yep, the numbers in front kind of match. Here up top, we have that negative 5 and 5. Those match. Here, that negative 4 and negative 4 match, so we're going to eliminate those. So we have to think with negative 4 and negative 4, what am I going to do to make that equal to 0? Why minus? Does anyone remember? We talked about it a little bit in our warm-ups. If I have 4 negatives, how am I going to undo 4 negatives? Positive 4, so minus a negative would change into a positive. Or if I have 4 negatives, I just need to take away the 4 negatives. So what I'm going to do, this next step is really important, is I'm going to take that minus sign and I'm going to put it in between every column. So negative 4 minus negative 4. Negative 3 minus negative 4. 18 positions. Negative 4 minus negative 4. If I have 4 negatives and I take away 4 negatives, we end up with 0. Okay, if you're not sure, you can always use your calculator. However, I don't know where my calculator is at the moment. I think it's under this notebook. Yep. Okay, using decimals would be helpful on this one because we have a lot of negatives. So -4 minus -4. So it could be a good thing to check, especially if you're not 100% confident. Just double check that it makes 0, and it does. So we have 0x. Then we have -3 minus -4. And we get 1. So +1, so I'm going to do a +1, y, equals 18 minus 16. 2. Yep. So now I'm going to rewrite that equation so that I can solve it nice. When I rewrite that equation, how will I rewrite that? Do I have to write it exactly as it is? No. Which part can I leave out? Yeah, the 0x, I don't need that. So 1y, and it was a +1, so I can just keep it a 1y, equals 2. Orange one has lead in it. Okay. All right, if I'm going to solve that, how would I undo multiplying by 1? You could divide by 1. Otherwise, we do know that 1y is the same thing as just y, right? So it's really just y. 2. All right, most students understand this part. They do really well, and then they kind of forget, what do we do next? So we have the y. What do we need to find next? The x. To find the x, we have to go back to the original problem and pick one of those equations. Okay?
At this point, we can pick either.
Last time we picked the top equation. You guys want to keep picking the top, or should we switch it up and do the bottom? I heard 2 different votes. I heard switch it up, and I heard keep the top. What do you guys want? Bottom? Okay. So for the bottom equation, I'm going to copy that first, just to make sure I have it right. -4x minus 4y equals, and that was originally just a 16. We had that minus there when we were subtracting, but it was a 16 now. All right, if I was working on this personally, I would maybe skip that step, but because these are our notes, I'm writing that step down so that I know where that came from. Okay, and what am I going to replace, the x or the y? What should I switch in? The y. What number am I going to switch in for y? 2, because y is 2. So we're going to write -4x minus 4, and then instead of y, we'll throw in that 2 equals 16. All right, so -4x minus 4 times 2 equals 16. What are we going to do what's our first step in solving this equation? Yeah, we're going to do that multiplying to simplify it first. What's -4 times 2? -8. Now it's simplified. We can't combine those. So now we have to start undoing. So what will we undo first? 8. $24. And then our last step to get rid of that -4.
I'm going to write next to each other so that I 1/4 divided by -4.
Negative 6.
You want to see negative.
Alright, so for our final ordered pair, which number is going to come first?
Negative 6.
Good, the x always comes first, so even though we found -6 as the second number, that it's going to be listed as first, because that's that ordered pair. And then our y comes second, so it'll be -6, 2. Alright, let's do a quick experiment real quick and see if we're right. If I plug that in to our equations, they should come up with true equations.
So remember, if you use Desmos for this, we can plug it all in together, and Desmos is smart enough to do it in the right order.
So I'm going to do -4 times, what's our x? -6 minus 3 times, what's our y? 2. And our answer should be 18. Did it work? Yep. Okay, let's check it with the other one. -4 times, what's our x? -6 minus 4 times our y? 2. Does it equal 16? Yep. So it worked for both equations. All right, real quick, our note on the bottom is if we know that they are the same number, the same coefficient. So if I had like a 5x and a 5x, how do we make that into 0? What will we do? Subtract, yep. Or if it was like a -3x and a -3x, to get that 0, we're going to still subtract. When they're the same, we subtract.
Remember, you can think of it as that word take away. So -3x, take away another -3x. They're all gone.
Okay. If they're opposite coefficients,
So if we have one positive and one negative,
of the same number,
then what do we do? How would we eliminate 4x using -4x? Add. So if they're opposite coefficients, then we add.
crushed it.